Hello everyone, this is us starting. So first of all, hello, my name is Meta Weiss. I'm a Director of Business Development at the Freeman Group, and I'm very happy to be giving today's webinar. We will be talking about the Congressionally Directed Medical Research Programs, or the CDMRPs. At the end of this webinar, we'll have some time for questions, so please feel free to use the question bar at the bottom of your screen. And let's begin. So first of all, a bit about us. The Freeman Group has been around since 1999, for 17 years now. We have 55 full-time employees and a very diverse client base. We work with academics, university medical centers, independent research institutes, and also the industry. Small, even virtual companies, medium-sized companies, and all the way up to big pharma. And we submit roughly 400 applications per year in behalf of our client base. We basically help you identify the most relevant funding opportunities for you, strategize and maximize the application's chances of success, manage the complex project production processes, lead the joint application writing, and support the final contract negotiation when that is relevant, and basically help our clients use and utilize the non-dilutive funding as a strategic financial tool. The reason for that, and let me just share with you a few statistics published by the Milken Institute in 2012. For every dollar that companies and organizations are able to secure using non-dilutive funding sources, they are very likely, on average, to be able to raise $8.38 from the private sectors, from private investors. And in addition to that, it was shown that for every dollar that the U.S. government invests in companies and organizations through these mechanisms, they are likely to gain $2.3 in economic growth. Another interesting statistic is that historically, 50% of all FDA-approved drugs received government funding at some point during their course of their R&D. Well, basically this means that a dollar secured by non-dilutive funding is worth more than a dollar, and also this is a very good indication of the likelihood of a drug to succeed. And now about the CDMRPs, the Congressionally Directed Medical Research Programs. First of all, this is a mechanism for Congress to basically allocate funds for specific fields of research. The CDMRPs, the programs, are organized in programs for specific indications, and the focus areas change each year, meaning, first of all, you have to make sure that you are updated and that an indication that you are looking to fund is within the scope, and also just because it was not funded last year doesn't mean that you won't be able to get funding in the future. The review process is modeled on the NIH, but they are not identical, and we'll touch upon some of the differences later. There is an expedited review process, meaning you are able to submit a pre-application before you begin with the whole grant writing process itself, and also non-U.S. entities are also eligible for these mechanisms. Another thing that I would like to share with you that is not always known is that the DOD and the CDMRPs are not only about the military service and the soldiers in the battlefield. They also try and fund indications that are relevant, of course, for the military service members, but also for the veterans and the beneficiaries, their families. And this is something that you have to bear in mind when considering DOD grants. The focus is much more wide than people know, and also they have very cute babies in their website. And this is the CDMRP website. It is very useful. I definitely recommend going in the CDMRP website and looking up indications that are relevant for you. You can click the funding opportunities and find the information that you need. And this is just a quick overview of the programs that are available for 2016. We will go over them in a bit, but I would just like to share with you a few numbers. So first of all, the budget for 2016 from the CDMRPs is $836.4 million. And I just roughly divided that budget into groups. But $285 million for oncology, for general medical research, another $278.7 million, for warfare and trauma, $201 million, neurological disorders, $58.5 million, genetic disorders, also environmental disorders, and of course, feel free to log into the CDMRP website. Again, very useful. It has much more information that I will be able to provide due to time constraints today. And now and then, when I hope I got your attention, I would like to talk about the review process itself. So the first stage is a white paper, which is a pre-application, very short usually. And that white paper is then reviewed with an expedited review process. And only once the pre-application is reviewed and the review is positive, you are invited to submit a full application. That full application is then reviewed and hopefully awarded. But I would like to just talk a bit about the white paper itself. So first of all, this is the first and the most critical step of the entire process itself. It is typically limited to 2 pages, but you have to remember that some indications and some mechanisms have different guidelines. So this is not always the case. You have to look very carefully into the solicitation and the indication that you're looking to fund. The majority of the applications actually do not make it past the white paper stage, meaning if you are called to submit a full application, your chances increase dramatically. And of course, that means that you have to very carefully draft and craft your white paper to basically make sure that the science is well presented and that you are, of course, taking this very seriously as you should. And I would like to talk a bit more about the specific indications that I mentioned before. So first of all, let's just say these are the oncology-related indications. Bone marrow failure, $3 million. Breast cancer, $120 million. Lung cancer, another 12. Ovarian cancer, and peer-reviewed cancer. And prostate cancer for another 80. And the most crucial deadline that you have to bear in mind all the time is the submission of the white paper. For example, for bone marrow failure, the white paper was due March 29th. So unfortunately, if you were planning on submitting the CDMRP for this specific indication, you'll have to wait until next year. Similarly, breast cancer and ovarian cancer, the white paper is not yet due, but it is right around the corner, so it is definitely a wonderful time to start. Don't postpone that stage. And of course, I still think there's still time. This is again a 2-page document, so don't feel that the time has passed. And we won't go, of course, into that great of a detail for all the indications. And also, for some of them, the deadline has not yet been published. So please, again, my main take-home message here is visit the CDMRP website and look it up. Gulf War illness, military burn, neurotoxin exposure treatment for Parkinson's disease, spinal cord injury, tick-borne disease, trauma, and also $10 million for programs funding vision. ALS program, autism, epilepsy, multiple sclerosis, peer-reviewed Alzheimer's disease, again, Alzheimer's, autism, alcohol and substance abuse, epilepsy, and many more. And what I would like to touch upon is the general medical research indications. We're talking about $278.7 million for that, and this year that includes 39 different indications. This is the entire list that I took from the CDMRP website again. I'm sure you can see that there are a few very well-funded indications, for example, diabetes, influenza, vaccine development for infectious diseases, but there are also other indications that are a bit more specific. For example, Rett syndrome, pathogen inactivated dried plasma, but you can see that there are many other examples. For example, acute lung injury, lupus, malaria, and sleep disorders. So I would definitely recommend going and making sure that the field that you're researching is indeed fundable, because there are surprises out there. And another thing to bear in mind when you look at this list is that most programs contain more than one mechanism. For example, if we will to look into breast cancer, they have 6 funding mechanisms ranging from $300,000 to $10 million for the award. And again, looking into breast cancer, so these are the funding mechanisms within the breast cancer indication. I will not obviously go into all of these. I just want you to be able to look at the numbers, but I would like to touch upon the breakthrough mechanism. So first of all, level 1 and 2. This is for more early stage non-clinical work. You can submit a level 1, that's the maximum, and the maximum is $375,000, a level 2, $750,000. And another important element of this mechanism is that you can also collaborate with second PI, and hence enhancing the maximum amount you can receive. For level 1, $600,000. For level 2, $1 million. And it is, of course, the responsibility of the PI to make sure that they're submitting to the correct level. And of course, this is correlated with the stage of the R&D plan. The second mechanism is the breakthrough level 3 and 4. This also includes clinical stage work. So in level 3, 2.5 million, or 4 if you are partnering with the second PI. And for level 4, up to $10 million, and that is over the course of 3 years, and that's a lot of money. So again, when you look at that list, you have to make sure that you are understanding the exact mechanism. And also, this is only the example for breast cancer. For every one of these, there are different mechanisms. Some of them are similar, but there are differences. You have to make sure that you understand the differences, preferably before you begin with the submission process. You do not want to start an application and then find that you are doing something wrong. And trust me on that. This is the EBRO system, the Electronic Biomedical Research Application Portal. This is the online system that you will have to register to in order to submit these grants. You have to be registered. You have to make sure that you're doing everything correctly and precisely. We're again talking about the DOD. That's the portal that you'll need to do everything through. You will be receiving your answers through that portal as well. And just give you some a wider perspective, I would like to show you our online tool called the OurDemonView, which is the first tool from our R&D Money suite, set of tools that we've been developing here at the Freeman Group. And with the OurDemonView, you can see awarded domestic for-profit organizations. Just a minute, okay. This is what it looks like. Our statistics here start at 2010, and since that time, $70 billion have been awarded for-profit domestic organizations through non-dilutive funding sources. So just before I dive into the CDMRPs, I would just like to show you something that I like personally. This is, well, I hope you know what this is, but we can see here geographical distribution of the funds awarded. This is for 2015. If we were to go into, for example, 2012, you are also able to see the differences. And if we were to visit Massachusetts, you can also see the distribution through the districts of the state. You can point and see the exact numbers. You can swipe the mouse around and be very impressed of our skills as graphic designers. And And let's go into funding by agency. Okay, this is a graph for 2015. The reason that I'm showing you this graph is just to cope with the misconception that we've been hearing a lot. A lot of very important key players within the life science world think that when they think about non-dilutive funding, they think about the NIH, and that is, of course, understandable. The majority of the funds that are allocated through these sources come from the NIH. Out of the $50 billion that are annually distributed through non-dilutive funding sources, about 32 billion, that's for 2016, are from the NIH, but that does not mean that there isn't a lot of funds available out there that are not from NIH-related sources. And another interesting statistics, if we were to start with 2010, going up to, let's say, 2014, and all the way up to 2015, I hope you can see that the relative percent of the non-NIH funding mechanisms is increasing, and this is actually not due to an decrease in the NIH budget itself. Since 2010, we can definitely see that it is increasing as well. And if we're even to take a deeper, a closer look into the non-NIH related mechanisms, so you can see that, well, first of all, the majority comes from BARDA, but another 15% is from the U.S. Army Medical Research and Material Commands, and the CDMRPs are indeed included within that percentage, so about 15%. And if we were to take a look at the numbers, we can see that last year alone, $181 million were awarded for-profit domestic organizations, so definitely not only academics. And you can see that the numbers are pretty impressive. Okay, so back to the presentation. So the major challenges when you look at submitting these grants are, well, first of all, the white paper submission. Are you responsive? Are you actually trying to address the interest of the funding agency? Are you adhering to the guidelines? You have to make sure that you are submitting in accordance to what you see in the solicitation. Different solicitations have different stipulations, and you have to make sure that you're doing it correctly. Is your scientific story compelling? Is it innovative? Do you have strong leadership carrying out the scientific project? These are all things that you have to bear in mind when you're submitting. Another thing is that you have unique sections within some of these mechanisms. We are, a lot of times we are used to seeing the sections from the NIH, for example, the R1, but there are sections here that you will not find within very standard NIH mechanisms. For example, a military relevance, that is pretty common with DOD-related grants. Another thing, of course, with this project, you have to bear in mind the project management and the coordination between the different aspects of the project itself, and of course a short timeline. I showed you before the April deadlines. There are a few in May, a few in June even, but again, the timeline is pretty tight. You have to make sure that you are submitting and able to accommodate for the tight schedule that you have. And well, when we think about how to maximize chances in the non-dilutive funding world, the thing that we know works the best is a very systematic approach. You have to know the interests of the agency, make sure that you're submitting your application to the most relevant funding opportunity for you. You have to present a complete and focused project. I would just like to remind you that the thing that they look to fund is not a company, it's not an organization, it is not a specific university, it is a scientific project. So as you write the application, you have to have that in mind all the time. This is what they look to fund. You have to ask for what is necessary in terms of the budget. Don't ask for too much because then it doesn't look good. And also don't ask for too little because it might seem like you do not understand the scope of work that you're suggesting. Sorry. And also you have to leverage on collaborations. This is not a mandatory section, but you have to make sure that your scientific team is indeed comprised of all the scientific knowledge that will be needed throughout the project. Don't be intimidated by collaborations. It does not make your application any less competitive. So again, you have to target the right mechanism. There are different pockets of money out there, different indications, different mechanisms, and you have to make sure that you are submitting to where is best. There are different sizes of awards and success rates, and again, make sure that you're submitting to the right place. You have to conduct a thorough strategic assessment and make sure that you know what's out there and that you're not wasting your time submitting to mechanisms that will not be useful for you. And of course, conduct a multi-submission granting strategy. And well, in a nutshell, what we do in the FreeMind Group, we provide two core services. The first one is the strategic assessment, and the second one is the application production process. Within the strategic assessment, we take a very long-term strategic approach, and we actually know that once our clients follow that strategic approach and submit more than 3 grants in the period that they work with us, they have a 64% chance of being awarded. We help you outline the projects and the task that needs to be completed, and we link you with the existing pockets of money. We talk to the program officers, we get their feedback, and sort through solicited and unsolicited applications and map the relevant funding opportunities for you. We then move on to the application production process. We help you with the project management, the coordinating between the different aspects of the application. We help you draft comprehensive templates that are based both on the specific solicitation guidelines and our 17 years of experience in both submitting and winning these grants and contracts. We run an ongoing feedback and edit process. This is a joint effort, ping-pong process, if you will. And we just want to make sure that everything you need is indeed present within the application. We help you plan your budget, make sure that you are asking for everything that you need, that you are sticking to the guidelines that can be very strict. Again, we're talking about the DOD. We help you convert the information, and the final outcome is a single coherent presentation of your scientific story. Both these processes are ongoing throughout the engagement period. And basically, this is what we do. Thank you very much for joining the webinar. I hope you found it interesting and educational. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me via email or just directly over the phone. I would also like to invite you to join our LinkedIn group, our YouTube channel, and our Twitter account. And let me take questions. Just a minute. Hold on. This is a very small window. Okay. Are non-US wait just a minute. Are non-US entities eligible to submit these grants? Definitely. You are eligible to submit even if you're not within the US. Let me see. You don't know this, but this is a very, very small window. Just a minute. Will the slides be available? Yeah, definitely. I'll send you a PDF right when we're done. Just a minute. When are the deadlines? Okay, so every indication and every mechanism have their own deadlines that could be they differ, and my recommendation is definitely going to the CDMRP website and look it up. Make sure that you are submitting on time, obviously. And I think this is all the time that we have. And again, thank you very much for joining. I hope you found it interesting and educational, and have a great day. Goodbye.